What is up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Pushing Buttons. I am one half of the bromance B, and I have the very beat up and very... I don't even know what to use to describe you today, Keith.
You don't.
Just fucked up. Other half of the bromance, Keith.
Yeah, what's going on, B?
Look at him.
I know.
It's got some spice behind that today. Spicy.
Ready to talk today, yeah?
And then we have the very popular Miss IG herself, graphic designer slash picture designer slash photographer slash whatever the fuck you want to name her. Claudia.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so this is episode 14. Right?
14, that's crazy.
Yeah.
14, y'all.
Damn.
Haven't missed yet.
No, we haven't missed yet. We've been dedicating our lives to this podcast. So yeah, I do want to send out a little bit of a trigger warning today. It's a heavy episode of Pushing Buttons today. And if you don't want to listen to stuff that might trigger you, I suggest you turn it off right now. That sound good?
Yeah.
Yes? That sounds good? Yes? Yes? Also, I want to say that we are on all streaming platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor for your ass. And now we are on YouTube. So we are on YouTube, y'all. So yeah, go ahead, rate and review. Go subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, so I want to go around the room and see how everybody is doing today. So let's go around the room and say how we're doing today.
I'm good. It's
Your
been
week
a
was
good
okay?
week. Work was interesting, but you know what? I'm learning to leave work at work.
Nice.
I can't take that shit home anymore. It's too
Nice.
much.
You've been taking it home?
Yeah, especially working from home. It's not easy to leave it just, And then participants think it's okay to call me after 5. And I'm just like, I work from 9 to 5. But
Nice.
Okay.
yeah.
I usually leave work at work. I don't take it home.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at leaving work at
work. I don't try to do
Not bringing that shit
outside
home.
of work.
So how you doing, Keith?
Not great, but I'm here and I'll get through it. So it's
Damn, we got a fucked up, beat up podcast today, man. It's literally
a long week for me.
got one half literally today. The other half of the bromance is broken.
I'm not broken. I'm here.
Broken.
I'm not broken. Just not a good week.
Whatever he want to.
1 out of 14. It's fine.
So give me on a scale of 1 to 10, how you're feeling.
Like a 5.
Damn, that's low.
Well,
What about you, Claudia? Scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling?
8.
An 8? Oh, that's pretty good. That's
What are you?
impressive. 10 out of 10, baby.
This nigga.
10, 10, 10. Uh-oh, we might have to bleep that out. Dropping N-bombs, and I'm not an N.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're not?
I mean, they want to draft me, I'll take it. If they're drafting me, I'll take it. I'll take it if they're trying to draft me. So yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing great. I feel good. I am good. I know my co-hosts are not doing so well today, but it's okay. We'll make it through. Well, just one half. But we'll make it
No,
through.
it's fine.
Claudia's feeling good. 8
We're
out of
fine.
10 isn't bad.
I'm focused. Let's go.
You're focused?
Yes.
That's what I like to hear. Look at that. Intensity.
Look at him looking at you like he's
He's a soldier.
Right.
He's literally a soldier today.
What did it say?
Soldier.
Okay, cool.
Shout out, Bron. So yeah, today we're gonna start off with B's random thought of the week. Dun 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 dun.
Any idea, Claudia?
No.
Hey,
I
me
never
neither.
know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't ever know. I already
You
know.
forgot the
what's-
last one.
I usually
I
end
know.
up just fucking winging this shit. I wing everything. That's probably not a good thing.
No.
So yeah, the random thought this week is, excuse me, when is it too soon to bring your significant other around to the family, to the folks, to your brothers and sisters if you have any, to your dad and your mom if you have any, to your, when is it too soon or when is it too late? When is it appropriate? When is it okay to, have your significant other meet important people in your life?
When is it too soon?
When is it too soon, too late, or when is it right? When you tell me. When is it too soon? What's too soon?
Like if you're just like the first couple of dates, that's probably too soon.
I don't fucking know. You tell me.
I'm just saying, like the first couple of days, that's probably too soon.
Oh.
Like you don't know where it's gonna. Have you established that you're
So you're not
in a
bringing.
relationship?
We know somebody like that, by the way. Just saying.
I was just thinking
I was
about that
thinking
too.
of the
I
same
was
thing,
like,
but,
you know what? Just make sure you spend a good amount of
We know
time
somebody
with
Yeah,
like
this
that.
person.
Who likes to bring their partners around, and we
Yeah, I
barely
wouldn't bring
fucking know
nobody
them.
around unless and I know it could not last. Like after a month, it could go away. I
Exactly.
wouldn't do that.
So when is the appropriate time? Is what I'm asking for you, Keith.
Once you establish that you're in a relationship and you're going, then that's
When
appropriate.
to you? When does that
Well,
vary?
Yeah, it varies. Whenever you establish, because we was talking. Me and my girl
So-
was talking for like 2 months before, and no one ever met her. But they met him like a month after we established.
So
we're
a month
going
is
now.
okay for you?
Yeah, a month is fine. She met my.
What about you, Claudia?
I would agree. The minute you establish a stable relationship with this person, like kind of like, okay, this is the roles that we're in, and this is our relationship right now. However, for me, I've always believed in like the 3-month mark. Like I have to make sure that in those 3 months things are going the right way, because again, I don't want to be that person that's constantly bringing people around and it's like, oh, here we go. No, I want to, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, you guys have known me for a while and you've never met anyone because no one has been worth it.
Dang.
Yeah, the only person you've really met has been my current.
Oh yeah, Jade.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's the only one.
We're allowed
we
to
know
say her
about.
name because she was already on the podcast. So shout out to you, Jade.
that's true.
Yeah, Jay, what's going on? We haven't met anybody else.
Nope.
What's the body count like?
We already established that last time.
Apparently it's 50, right, Keith?
Right?
I don't
I'm
disclose.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I've had fun in my days.
Okay.
In her days, like she's 50
I
or
know.
something. She's only like she's younger than us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, B? What time you think? He never wants to answer his own question.
Like tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, I think it has to be. You're right. Like if it depends on from person to person. I think it would be appropriate a couple months in, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. Depends, on how attached you are to this person. But I used to bring people around, but I didn't say they were my girlfriend.
Did you say your friends?
They were just my friends. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
And people believed you. I'm just saying.
How did they feel
That's
about
what
that?
I'm
Like,
saying.
oh, this
People
is just
believed
my
you.
friend.
Well, fuck it. You're just my
They
friend.
wouldn't care?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think
Oh, yeah, they won't feel no type of way?
Well, no. I brought my girlfriend around, my current girlfriend around, and presented her as my girlfriend.
But there wasn't a label on those.
No,
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
no, there was no labels, just friends. And they believed you. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Keith, for saying that.
I just want to make sure.
You wouldn't believe me?
I would believe you.
Oh, okay.
Some people, not so much.
All right. Yeah.
Because people that will do it like if they talking to somebody for a week and they'll bring somebody.
Uh-oh. Shot,
No shots are fired.
No shots are fired?
No.
Bullshit.
A week and then a week and a half. This is my girlfriend or my boyfriend.
Yeah, man, you know who I'm talking about, and you know who you are out there. You fucking had me go out and bring my girlfriend with you, and then you fucking were like, "Yeah, this is the girl. All right, man, let's buy some drinks for the girl's birthday, right?" And then fucking a week later, you're like, "Yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, you fucked up. Don't ever do that shit again." But
Probably happened.
yeah, never learned their lesson.
used to it.
So you know who you are. I love you. So yeah, today we got some heavy ass fucking topics that Keith lined up for us. You know,
feel free to check
got
out if you want to.
he got tired of fucking the soft episodes.
What was soft?
For
Friendship?
3 episodes, we were talking about body counts and friendships and all the good fun stuff. Now we have to bring you down to earth because we are the Pushing Buttons podcast, and we're here to push your fucking buttons.
People get mad, don't they?
I'm sure they do. I'm waiting to see what everybody says on the fucking last episode with Claudia's beliefs on not whooping kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Time out, Timmy.
Yep.
Sorry, Claudia.
It's okay. I just don't believe in beating kids.
Right. We disagreed.
I got you.
We disagreed. It was an intense.
Different parenting. I have a more,
think corners
authoritative type of, I
Corners
would
work,
think, parenting. Huh?
Corners work, right? They just sit in the corner.
Corners. Oh,
they just sit in the
corners.
corners. That works, right?
No, I don't know what's going to work for my kid. I don't know. I don't have kids.
You sit there, you stare at the corner.
It's not gonna work. Whatever, man. Whatever. We're off that fucking topic. That was last podcast. Go check it out. That's a little fucking, shout outs to the last episode. So yeah, we're gonna talk about mental health today. And yeah. Keith fucking just unloaded this shit on us this week and was like, enough with the soft shit. We're talking mental health this week since it is what is it called? Mental Awareness Month? Mm-hmm. Or
is it?
It was. I think it was mental.
It was, or the suicide.
Well, that was Suicide Prevention Week last week.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's
So
a
we
month.
could
There's a
push
month
it.
I think dedicated to mental health and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're on today. So yeah, we can talk about different types of mental health problems. So just depression, bipolar, anxiety, suicide prevention, PTSD, and all the other good stuff that Keith named on this beautiful, beautiful topics list. So the first question I want to ask, since I'm gonna guide this ship to mental health, we're gonna start off with the first layer of this, and that is, have any of you suffered from any type of mental health issues?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think everyone has.
Yeah.
What kind? What kind? Depression?
Depression probably.
Anxiety?
Is the mostly. Not anxiety. Depression probably.
Suicide?
Depression.
Not suicide.
Suicide? No? Depression?
I think depression and suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by suicidal thoughts? Like, you can have like, what would life be like if I went here? Is that like a suicide thought?
Could be.
Okay.
If you think of it and it's like, oh, maybe I could do this and just like, poof, have it all be gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but that's not like going the extra mile to
Hurt yourself.
Right. No. Yeah. No.
I've got to make sure that's
I haven't.
clear.
Yeah. Like I haven't self-harmed or any of
But
that.
you
But
thought
the
about
thought
what
of
would
it has
happen
been
if I'm
there.
not here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I think that comes across everybody's mind. Have
What,
it come across your mind?
like suicide?
No, think about what will happen if you weren't here.
It depends
yeah.
how often.
I'm sure that comes across everybody's mind.
Or every day for me.
Really?
Well,
Every day?
Oh, I think a majority of the time for me.
Really? What will life be like if you weren't here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But that's why I have like a iffy, whatchamacallit. It's not, I think when it gets labeled like that, it's looked at as negative.
And it's not negative.
And it could be negative. Like it could take a toll on people and other people.
If they think about it so much, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're not in that person's mind, so you don't know exactly what they're thinking or what they're not thinking. And I don't think it should be like labeled as bad that you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it could be, I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but you can think about it, know,
Right.
or think about it often. So I think depression for me probably, anxiety not so much. I'm not very I don't think I suffer from anxiety. Probably depression and just suicidal thoughts maybe. And I don't think I've ever really self-harmed. Or I don't think so. Not to the extent where you're about to die from it or you have to go to the ER for
What
it.
about
no.
just like regular stress?
Oh yeah, just stress. Could that be considered a mental health? Yeah, right. Stress.
Yeah,
It
stress.
could. Yeah, most definitely.
Because you can take pills for stress, right?
You can?
Yeah. Don't they have stress pills that you take if you're really suffering from stress? I'm sure they have pills for it.
Probably. Honestly,
Stress
they have
pills?
pills for anything.
They have
I've
pills for
never-
everything and labels for everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So probably they'll label you under one category of mental health, and then they'll prescribe you something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking. I grew up around that, so I know exactly some of the pills that people are taking for that stuff. It's pretty intense stuff, man.
Yeah.
It skews your outlook on it. I know it changed my outlook on how I view mental health.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think if you've never seen somebody go through it or been through it yourself, that's why I don't think it's everybody has thought about suicide and stuff like that, or any suicidal thoughts. I think it's a particular person that thinks about that kind of stuff. And I think if you've never been through it or if you've never seen it, then you're not as understanding about it. You know, there's still that stigma, but around all that around mental health that people don't accept it.
I think also the difference between thinking, oh, what would this world be without me, and suicidal thoughts, it's also there's a difference.
Yes.
I think because
it's very vague, but
because thinking like, oh, what would this world be without me? Well, you think about it. For me, at least, suicidal thoughts is more of the idea on how you would what you would do in order to not be in this world. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
No, I agree. But again, back to the stigma behind mental health. I think that's what I'm saying. Like I think some people might even suffer from it and not even know it, you know, because they've never been diagnosed or they've never been whatever, or you know, and then or just haven't been taken seriously. And I think that's where some issues arise.
Oh, well, people don't get taken seriously.
Is when people don't take it seriously, and then you fucking.
What about people that don't want to take it seriously?
That's a problem too.
They think that's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, I think that's an issue. I think that's a lot. I think for us, especially I don't know how it is in the Black community, but in the Latin X community.
Why'd you say Latino?
Latinx.
Latinx. Get killed for that, right? So stupid. Latinx. I don't want to call it stupid, but it doesn't sound the greatest.
So in the Latinx community.
Yes. In the Latinx community. See, we gotta have a fucking 5-second serious talk, Keith, without venturing off. Yeah, in the Latinx community, I think it's more frowned upon to have mental health issues.
And I think, honestly, I mean, I don't want to speak for the Black community, but it's also very frowned upon. Yeah. I think it's like, why do you need to go to a therapist? Just deal with it, but yourself. Come on, you got it. It's just a moment in your life. And I think it's very similar.
Would you agree, Keith?
In our community? Yeah, because we always have to constantly what'd you say?
My stomach grumbled.
Oh.
Why?
Because I'm hungry. But go ahead.
You should have ate. Like we're always constantly fighting the battle to get equal. So it's used to we're used to not having. I'm trying to say it right.
No, go ahead. Say it how you want to say it. We'll edit it out if you fuck up.
No, I'm not. We used to not having much, so mental health is not like
a priority.
You gotta deal with it.
It's not a priority.
That's what it is. You just gotta deal with it. Overcome it, basically. You overcome mental health. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. Like that's what you grew up in. That's what you used.
Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with it, but I mean, it's life. It's what you have to deal with.
Do you think you can approach somebody in your family now and speak on mental health issues without getting judged? Or do you think it'd still be an issue? Is it an issue in your family?
What, mental health?
Yeah. Like, is it taken seriously or is it taken lightly? Sorry if it's personal.
It's not it's not taken as serious, but we just stray away from. We just say you acting crazy. We try to help you. If you want to do that, then that's you. You know what you're getting yourself into. That's how we handle it.
In your family?
Yes.
Particularly in your family.
Particularly.
So how do you think your family would react if you asked for mental health help?
I think they'd help me.
They would?
Yeah. Especially my close family. Like my brothers and sisters. Yeah. I'm sure they would.
That's good. What about you?
But I would say that they won't give you like many chances. Like you only got like 1 or 2 chances to come back if you want to keep constantly do it. We don't do the keep coming back like.
So they don't believe in you like having this being an issue,
like a relapse type thing.
Yeah.
No.
Damn. But like the thing too is, how do they look at mental health? Kind of like the way they look at a person who has substance use disorder.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily looked at as mental, right?
Right. Because it seems, based on what Keith is saying, is that they give a certain amount of chances.
Yeah, I mean,
right. Whereas for mental health, there's no.
I know that
there's no time frame
as to like where, right?
But But in my family, we just
Right.
if you
No, I
want to
understand.
deal with that, we don't have time to. We can suggest you go to somewhere, but if you don't want to listen, then we unfortunately don't seek out many times to help you out.
Oh, okay.
You only get a certain amount of chances. Something is not right in your brain. You need to get help.
Okay.
We'll suggest it for you,
Okay.
but we won't go all out every time. Like you can't keep coming back with the same problems.
What about you, Claudia?
No, mental health, I think it's taken pretty serious for, at least for us.
In your household?
In my household, yeah. At least with myself, I think for me, everything started in college. Of course, you know, get a higher education. That shit will fuck you up. And that's all I'm going to say. But,
It's a business.
yep. But I think everything started there. And that's when I started to realize, okay, something's going on. And there were times where it was very hard to get out of bed. And days where honestly, like I wouldn't get out of bed for like a whole week. And it was just kind of like, okay, what's going on? And mostly I would get out of bed just to brush my teeth, and that was it. But that was as much energy as I could put into it. And I would email my professors and just kind of be like, hey, something came up. I can't attend class. And I think that it also had to do with a lot of other things happening in my life at that time with like family issues and all of those things. But it also had to do with me not knowing what I wanted to do regarding my education. I had no clue. I went in thinking, okay, I want to do nursing. And then I was like, fuck, no, thank you. And then I was like, no, business management. No, fuck that. And then when I finally realized, like, what the hell are you doing? Social work has always been in the back of my mind. And then hearing people kind of just being like, yeah, but that job, it's this and it's that. And I mean, it's honestly been the best thing I've done because it has helped me understand myself even more regarding my mental health, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's still there. I still have my days where I'm just like, there are still days when, I'm not gonna lie, like, I think that a couple episodes ago, I didn't want to do the podcast. You know, I was like, I'm not in the mood for this, but I just pulled through it. And I think that that's one of the things you have to fight against those thoughts, or else, for me at least, when it comes to like depression, it almost feels like an addiction because it's so comfortable to be in that mind space. It's just so comfortable to be there and be like, okay, I enjoy this, rather than, okay, I need to get out of this mind space that feels so comfortable and just push forward.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are sharing. Oh, man. Oh, there you go, Keith. Come on, man. Fucking the video up. But, yeah.
Do not disturb.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I think in my family, we take it seriously. I think at some point we didn't. And maybe sometimes we don't, at least, but I do. Like I take it really personal. I take all that shit really to heart. But in my family, I think I don't think my dad was too much on board with it at first, and now I think he's kind of come to the realization. So for some of the listeners out there, we're gonna get a little personal. I've lived through the whole depression thing with my mom, having depression and anxiety. So I've been there in situations where she wasn't doing too well, and I was the only person she had to lean on because my dad wasn't very understanding of what was going on with her mentally. You know, and again, it goes back to that Hispanic and Latino, Latinx, Latino, whatever the fuck. It goes back to that, you know, just them not understanding why somebody would think that, or them not understanding why you're feeling that way, or them not understanding, you know, just not understanding, period. I think that's the underlying message behind that. And I think people, again, that's why I'm adamant on, if you've never been through it, you just won't understand it in that space. For me, you'll just never understand what it feels like. You'll never understand that person. You'll never understand. Only people that go through it will understand. And that's why I feel like it's very, I don't think everybody feels that way. I mean, people have thoughts of, oh man, you know, life sucks sometimes, or blah, 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 this and that. But there's different levels to that, you know? Mm-hmm. There's different levels to how you feel mentally. And it's not always just life sucks, you know? Because there's other people that take it even further than that. and I think it's very important to like get that across. But yeah, like I think in my family, we most of us understand. I know I understand it, and in my field as well, I've seen it, so I understand a little bit more about it and what people go through. So I think that also changes your views on it. You know, sorry.
You're fine. But what about we know somebody that had a drastic personality change, right? That really veered away from us for like a decent amount of time and came back, and now it's okay, but you can never forget what they done, what they did, and it's like, do you still think that way?
Not cool.
Like, you know who I'm talking about. Like, he went somewhere, a totally different place.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's not cool to just come back and think everything is okay.
Oh, yeah. And then having that effect on your...
Yeah, where you view them, right?
Yeah. I mean...
Like, you view them differently. Like, you don't not like them or love them anymore. It's a different relationship at that point.
Yeah, it changes. But
is that a mental thing that...
It can be. I think... I don't think like that particular person, if I'm correct on who you're talking about.
I think you know who I'm talking about.
It was more of so...
Because I don't have all the information because this person would not necessarily share it with me.
And then what they shared with me, I didn't like, and I brought it to the attention of this person, right? And that's where the strain came, and it separated people, obviously, right? But I think it does affect your, like, mentally how you view that person, but I don't think it has anything to do with, like, mental health.
But that person didn't just change to you? You don't think so for that time period?
You think it might have to do with them not being okay? Like, do you think that
I think someone swayed them. The person they were with swayed them.
And changed them?
Changed them, yes.
In a good way or in a bad way?
In a bad way. Like they were making bad decisions.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Like, you making decisions like you never made all up to your life.
Yeah.
And then
somebody
just
so the
drastically.
So the situation he's speaking on is somebody had a significant other, right? And that significant other changed this person's views on a lot of things, right? So what they would normally do, they did, you know, and what they were saying wasn't what they would normally say.
Like knowing them going like
that could also be
a long time, and you just drastically doing something differently.
That could be also a form of just mental abuse in a sense, right? I think
I think that could be
it would be like a mental abusive thing where where you're making this person do things and making them think different things that they wouldn't normally think. And even now that you say that, I think in a particular point that person was not okay mentally.
But what if you could
divulge?
Yeah.
Divulge more?
Mm-hmm. Like what kind of things were they? Because I think that people could potentially, like, I could start dating, right? Like I started dating Jade, and maybe I wasn't as spiritual, and now I'm like, oh wait, you know, like this is.
Oh no, but that's in a positive outlook. We're talking about just completely negative.
Okay, and so what were those negative?
Were things you were being put against your family, or you were, you know what I'm saying? Like,
gotcha. Okay, yeah,
because this person maybe wasn't mentally strong enough, or just wasn't listening
to see what everybody else was telling.
I think it was what you were saying, B. It's more of a abusive type of
mental abusive, right? Mentally abusive. Because at that point, you're changing this person's everything. Mm-hmm. And then you also, there's a term for it now. There's a new term. To
come find out the person that this other person was with actually had mental problems.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Oh, okay.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a term for it now where somebody, what's it called? Where you make somebody believe something. So basically you do something and then that person sees you do it and then you tell them that they didn't see what they saw. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I did something, like let's say I threw this water bottle across the fucking room, right? Mm-hmm. And then Claudia's like, Keith's like, yo, you threw that water bottle across the room, and then I'm like, no. Okay, so I threw this bottle across the room, right? Keith's like, you threw, I know I threw it across the room, and Keith's like, no, you didn't do that, man. You didn't get crazy. You didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Even though I knowingly know that I threw it, but I'm starting to think, because you're persuading me into believing that I actually did something. I actually didn't do that action. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's called gaslighting, or some term like that, something along those lines.
Is it?
Yeah, like there's a thing for it now. Like there's a term for it where you basically make this seem that other person's crazy.
Yeah, that's.
Oh
that's
yeah,
what
it's that's the term.
Is it
Gaslighting? That's the term. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's the term.
We were talking about gaslighting, right? So gaslighting. I think it became popular like recently, right?
Yeah.
Is that a medical term or is that like a term that somebody made up?
Honestly, I can't. I don't know.
Why gaslighting? I don't get it.
I don't know, but it's interesting because recently there was a situation. It's interesting that you bring that up. And this person was in the complete wrong. And everyone could see that, hey, you're in the wrong. However, when the altercation, so it was an altercation between not an altercation, but a disagreement between two people. So let's say B person is wrong and A person is kind of like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm calling you out on what you did. And B person just completely plays the victim and tries to turn everything around.
That's gaslighting?
And it's kind of like at one point it's using things that you even said against you, things that it's like, okay, this isn't a bad thing to even say, but why are you using this? Like, what are you trying to get out of it? And it's also that victim mentality where it's like, I always want to seem like I'm the victim in a sense, because there's people who are like that, and that's the reality of things.
Yeah, they're
and a lot of things.
Yep.
And a lot of things, unfortunately,
and they don't want to accept responsibility.
Right, and unfortunately, a lot of times it could be with, you know, having some sort of mental health issue, you know, because this person did have a mental health diagnosis. And so for her, that's always her mentality. You know what I mean? Like it's very natural for her to just twist things around, even though she's the one that fucked up. Somehow it gets turned back to you. And I think that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be mental health. There's a lot of people who are just naturally like that. They're like, oh yeah, I fucked up, but it's still your fault because you did this, this, and this. Whereas, at least for me, when I fuck up, it's like, okay, but it wasn't. And then I was like, okay, be realistic. You fucked up. Own up to it. Say sorry. Move on. Right? I feel like that's what a person would do. But there's a lot of people who like to
play the victim.
And that's where that term comes from.
Yeah. Well, I know if somebody,
and if I'm wrong, sorry.
Like the play the victim part. We don't usually tolerate play the victim. We like, gee, something wrong with you. You my friend, you're going to get help. When you right, you can come back. But until then, when you right in your right mind, all by means, we can hang out. But if you're not going to be right, just stay away. You get help, you find somebody else to deal with your problems until you come back.
So have you guys dealt with anyone who has mental health issues?
Have I?
Like personally?
Yeah.
Not like directly, no.
I have. And no, I wouldn't walk away. I usually people
it's
would
not
like
walk away. It's just that, you know, you just tell them.
No, and every person
just get help. But don't bring it to me because I'm not an expert. And
I get it. A lot of people choose to set their boundaries.
That's why I'm not trying to fix you.
And that's the thing. A lot of people choose to set their boundaries because that potentially could be way too much for them. Like, I'm sorry, I'm still your friend. However, I need to take care of myself first. And it's okay. You're not selfish for that. You're setting your own boundaries. You know what I mean? However, for me, being in the field that I'm in, I can't just be like, okay, go take care of yourself and come back once you're ready to, like,
it makes it sound like I'm so bad.
They would fire me right away. However, I completely understand setting boundaries because for me, I've dealt with individuals in my personal life, whether they are clients or people close to me, where I've had to say, you know what, I need a moment. Maybe everyone should just take a moment. Let's give ourselves a week. Do your thinking. I'll do my thinking. By all means, if they need someone to talk to, I will make sure that they know I'm always there. But I most definitely do give or provide myself with that time because my mental health also comes first. And there have been moments when I've had to shut someone down and just be like, you know what, I can't do this.
Right.
This is too much for me. I can't do it. My mental health comes first. I understand that you need help. I understand that you need someone in your life right now, but this is way too much for me.
They get mad at you for saying that?
Some people do. Some people do. And, you know, they don't take it well. Others are just kind of like, you know what? I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I think I've dealt with people. Yeah, I have. I've dealt with people who've had it, and then I've dealt with people not knowing that they had mental health issues, and then something bad happened. So I've dealt with it from both like aspects of it, where it was I was helping somebody and I knew they had mental health issues, and then where I was talking to somebody and helping, but I didn't know that they had those issues, and then something happened. You get me?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like necessarily good.
But then what about those people who, I've always had an issue with this, but that whole idea of romanticizing mental health.
Well, it's a thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, what are
Explain.
it's almost like, oh, if you have depression, or if you have anxiety, or if you have suicidal thoughts, or if you have ADHD, if you are bipolar, if like all of these things, people almost they self-diagnose themselves just because it's like, oh, I fit under this category. And a lot of people kind of use it in a way of like self-pity, which sucks for the people who actually do have it. Because you can tell when someone self-diagnoses themselves, and then you can tell from the person that's actually suffering and going through it. It's very different. It's very different. I've always said that mental health doesn't have a face. However, I've also noticed that a lot of people who go through depression and bipolar and all of those other mental health issues, you might not even fucking know that they're going through that, because they're constantly so like, okay, I want to make sure that everyone around me is okay and doesn't feel uncomfortable. But I've also, but there's also people, again, who you can tell that they're going through something. However, going back to the people who self-diagnose and they don't even know, like, it could just be a rough patch in your life, and they're just like, yeah, I suffer from depression.
Or it's a hip thing now. Like it's almost become cool to have mental health issues.
Really?
Yeah. I think a lot of people use it.
It's cool to have mental health problems?
Yeah. Or they use it
Society
they use it in, especially in music, right? Like in music where they kind of almost make it seem like it's cool to have an issue, or it's cool to do certain things that because you're, you know, or it just becomes a product, right? Like you're pushing a product at that point. You know, you're pushing mental health issues. Yeah, so an audience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of very dangerous in a way.
Yes, it is.
Because then somebody who's actually suffering from it, and you're out here spewing bullshit,
And they believe it.
and now this person might end up hurting themselves, or it might trigger somebody, or whatever the case may be. You know, so I think it's a very dangerous, but it is a thing now where it's hip.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, remember when things were uncool? I keep saying that. Remember when things were uncool? Things used to be uncool. Like this wasn't something that was talked about. Yeah. And you know, in some ways it's a positive and there's a negative to things, right? In a way, there's a positive outlook that people get to see more eyes on these actual real issues with mental health. But then the other side, there's also people who are using it for self-gain. Yeah. Or for, you know, whatever. And at that point, you know, that's where it becomes a problem. And I think it's hard to tell nowadays. You know, it's hard to tell who's really suffering from it and who's really not. Because like Claudia says, some people just walk around saying stupid shit because, yeah, that's what I have and that's what I, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they think they can say
like they wear like a
You think more people self-diagnose themselves more than anything now? Or
that's honestly, I don't.
They walk around like it's a badge, man. Like it's a badge to have it. And like Claudia said, I think for most people who suffer from it aren't out here openly saying that they have it or that they're suffering through something. Obviously, there's some people, you know, like I said, some people who might be like, you know, it helps saying that you have it out loud so that, you know, people understand why you're a certain way.
I think that any type of mental disorder should be normalized. I think we should be able to just talk about it and not make people feel uncomfortable, because the minute you mention depression, not so much. I feel that with depression, people are now more normalizing it a little bit more and understanding it a little bit more, or even anxiety. But the minute you mention something such as like bipolar, or something such as even suicidal thoughts, or schizophrenia, PTSD, it's kind of, people are like triggered right away. They assume the worst, or you're crazy. And it's interesting because I've worked with people who have schizophrenia, and in my mind, my very ignorant mind at the time, for me, I thought schizophrenia was something completely different. And no, schizophrenia could be a high functioning individual who just makes things up in their mind, and to them it's the reality of things. However, it's more as to how do you, like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Mind you, this was like my first client ever.
Join that reality.
Right.
You join that reality.
And you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful because they themselves can blur lines. And one, as the professional, you have to really set those boundaries. So it's, it's hard. Like, this person thought they were my friend. They were coming in to hug me, and I honestly had to tell her I do not feel comfortable. And it was not easy. She did not want to see me. I was like,
she was mad at you?
Well, yeah, because to her, imagine I was younger, right? I'm the youngest caseworker at my job. Everyone else is over in their 30s or hitting their 30s.
Old ass.
No, and so her, to me, she was just kind of like, oh, and she would always ask me about my tattoos, and she would always, and there were points where I would have to tell her I don't want to disclose, but point is that we have these ideas of what a specific mental disorder looks like,
and it might not look that way.
The reality is completely different.
You might not even be able to tell sometimes.
Even with bipolar too, I think a lot of times people think that bipolar is like 0 to 100. No, it could honestly just be 0 to 1, 0 to 2, 2 to 5, and then go back to 0. Like, it depends. There's different levels to bipolar. It's not just like,
there's different levels to everything.
Yeah.
All mental health issues. So, how do you guys, like, what do you guys do to keep good mental health? Like, what are some things that you guys do to help with your mental health? Like,
to keep sane?
Yeah, I guess you could say keep sane, or just get you through that one day, right? Like, what are some good things that you guys practice that help with it? Like, what are some things that you might do that helps out? I do this fucking podcast. It helps me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, talking to, siblings, family.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to family.
Yeah, talking to your close ones.
For sure. For me, I love to hike. So if I can get away, that's my...
Get away?
That's like my perfect, almost meditation. It's that hike, seeing those sceneries. Like, I love forests and all those things. And if I'm not able to do that, honestly, running has really been helping clear my mind. And yeah, honestly, this podcast, it's definitely nice. It's something that I didn't realize, I guess, that I was going to enjoy it.
Do you see that? Fucking bullshit.
I didn't realize. I know.
Well, me and Keith weren't too sure if we were gonna like you either.
And there are days when I'm just kind of like up and down, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the podcast for sure. So that's definitely something else that helps.
I will say something else though. There's some people in the room here today, right? And I do want to say that speaking about it helps. Like, for me, it helps. And I'm learning to talk to people that I care about it. And it might be hard. And it's a good segue into the next one of this fucking long ass list that Keith got for us.
Long. It's not
where it's speaking to, like, in a relationship, right? So dealing with some of these things within a relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm trying to learn to talk about it, right? To be more open about it. And some days might be rougher than others. And the reason I'm bringing it up and saying there's people in the room is because my girlfriend's in the room right now. And I'm learning. I'm not necessarily there yet, but I'm learning to be able to speak about it. And she's been more understanding about it, right? So she's been more like, I want to know, and it sucks that you feel that way, but I want to know, right? And I think that's where, like, I'm learning that people around me, I can talk to them about it, and that makes me feel good, you know. Even like Keith and my brothers, or even you, Claudia. Like I'll be able to talk to people, and just being able to let it out, right? Just being able to say it without feeling like you're gonna be judged, obviously, is more than good enough for me. And I think that's how I keep saying, you know, where I'm feeling like shit, I want to be able to say it, you know, without getting judged. Yeah. So, how do you guys deal with it? Have you guys ever dealt with it? Like,
in a relationship, you mean? Yeah. Like during COVID, it's very hard to do it. Not being able to see somebody, it's not the funnest thing in the world.
Well, somebody you care about, right?
Yes.
Because you can see people. All right, Keith, I'm just saying.
God, this guy. Yes. I did not have the greatest time.
So it was tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
So how'd you deal with it?
Just
made it through?
Yeah, just made it through. Power through.
What about you, Claudia? Have you dealt with it? Like, how do you deal with it?
Oh yeah, I dealt with it. It was rough at the beginning of my relationship, especially because for me, I'm a very private person. For me, there's a lot of things that I don't disclose. There's a lot of things that I don't say, and it has to do a lot with my own ego and, again, not wanting to be judged and also not wanting to be a burden. To me, it's just kind of like I've always felt within my household, I've been like that rock. So it's like that's my role. So that's also the role for myself, if that makes sense.
So in a relationship, you want to take the role of the rock.
Right. So I'm a rock. But no, I think that Jade really broke through that rock. And she showed me how expressing myself and not letting my ego and those walls go up all the time or be up all the time, that it's okay for me to, to just say, hey, I'm feeling like this. Right. And I guess for me, it was always a situation of I don't want to be a burden. Right. And it was the matter of being able to trust someone and being comfortable enough. And she really broke me out of that. And it was a big issue at the beginning because I would refuse to disclose anything. But, it was the beginning of a relationship. I didn't want to fuck it up. I didn't want her to be like, oh shit, what the fuck?
You got a lot of baggage with you.
But right. But then as we opened up, we both realized, we're a little bit more similar than we thought. We have similar concerns, similar things going on. And then I think after that is when I started opening a little bit more to close friends. I think there are certain friends I don't really open up to because they have that mentality of mental health is not a reality. And it's because of their culture and how they're raised. But also, again, going into the social work field also helped me be more open with that. It's normalized. It's okay for you to talk. It's okay for you to say these things out loud. You don't have to constantly internalize them.
Can we send a quick fuck you to the people who don't want to take it seriously? So fuck you. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Keith got one last topic here, but I guess we'll divulge into it, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, it fits in, I guess. I just don't. There wasn't much elaboration. You want to guide us through it? The last topic here. You said it's actually. Well, we're about to wrap up. We got like 10, 11 minutes.
Okay. So myself.
We save it.
No. We'll
talk about it. So, what did you want to talk about in this topic? Lead us through it. I'm gonna put you on the spot now.
What is the topic? I don't know.
It's intimate partner violence.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's changed to now. It's no longer the other one. It's no longer domestic violence. It's intimate partner violence now.
Really?
Well, they're trying to shift. To that, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why?
It just sounds more because domestic violence can be triggering. I think I'm assuming that's why. So intimate partner violence sounds a little bit more.
And I think domestic violence also, it fits for the whole household. So let's say that, my little sister, if I were to be abusive to her, that's domestic violence.
Right. So it's more...
It's more of an intimate partner.
And that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Intimate partner violence, right?
Yeah.
So within two people who are dating and in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So what did you want to speak on it? Divulge.
What I want to speak on it?
Yeah. What did you want to add to? What did you want to speak about within that topic?
Oh,
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Domestic violence is not okay, and
Intimate partner violence.
Great, intimate partner violence not okay, and should not. You should always try to do something before it leads up to that. You shouldn't. That should be the last resort.
Actually, man, that's actually not a bad topic, right? We lead in. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say.
Why?
Wait,
because I understand what you're saying. However, a lot of people don't understand those lines. They don't understand what it's like to leave an abusive relationship.
Okay, because I don't know. I've never been in one, so I don't.
No, that's me neither. But
so this ties in, right? So, in intimate partner violence, that could lead to mental.
Definitely.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to. Wait, does that intimate partner violence can be?
Okay, intimate partner violence. You also have to, I guess, realize in a way that so the perpetrator, they're not just being abusive, honestly, because they want to be. If that makes sense. I know this is an idea that's very hard for people to understand. However, abusers, perpetrators, however you'd want to call them, they also need that mental health support because there's something going on right here that's not clicking. There's a reason why they're acting this way. And when you look back, it always begins in the childhood. It takes a very special type of person to want to work with perpetrator. I personally wouldn't. However,
why?
I just wouldn't. For me, I'd be the entire time I would be in that judgmental state. And I have to be honest with myself. I'm not going to lie about it. You know, I'd be like, you fucker. Like, you know how much fucking shit you've put someone through with your actions? And that's what I'm saying. It takes a special type of person to be able to work with perpetrators. And there's people who are in that field and work with the perpetrators, and they've explained it's not easy.
Would you be able to have a conversation if the perpetrator was a woman?
Yeah.
So
what do you mean a conversation?
Would you be willing to work with the person doing the abusing if they were a woman as opposed to if they were a man?
No, I wouldn't want to work with a perpetrator at all. Period. Whether women, men, trans, whatever you want to be. No. You know?
You wouldn't do it?
No.
Neither?
No.
So it's not just with a person who identifies as male?
Yeah, no.
Just making sure.
Yeah, no.
Just making sure that we're on an even playing field because sometimes people are willing to do. You know what I'm saying? They're this about women this, women that, sure. And then when the woman becomes the perpetrator, you don't want to work with her no more. You know what I'm saying? Like
I got
where the roles change.
Yeah,
it becomes a different thing. You know.
Yeah.
But I do agree that there is some type of issue with the person doing the abusing. Right? Mm-hmm. There's something wrong with that person doing the abusing. And I don't think we ever look at it that way because we're so angry at the thought that the person that's doing the abusing is the person that's wrong, right? Which they are to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
To a certain extent, that person is wrong. At the same time, we have to understand that person might be going through something. They might have some type of mental health in themselves, and which is the reason.
I explained earlier that was kind of a form of this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
See, and that's what he was talking about.
It wasn't physical; it was just mentally.
Right.
And then that person turned out to be not mentally okay, which was the one doing the damaging.
Exactly.
Would that change your view on that person, or would you still have that same resentment?
Resentment towards
the person doing the abusing. So if that person that did the abusing to the person that you know, the close person. Would that change your outlook on that person because they have mental issues, or do you still view them that same way?
Oh, I still view them that same way. I knew what I knew.
So wait, do you have ill will towards that person?
The other person? Yes.
Does it change because they had mental issues?
No.
So you still have those same ill will feelings towards that person? Mm-hmm. Why?
Because they came off as not having that. And then to find out, that don't change anything for me. To find out that you did, that doesn't change anything because you still did it. It doesn't change much for me.
See, that's funny. No. It's funny that we're on this topic. Well, not funny. I shouldn't say funny. It's not the right word.
You always gotta say.
I always say some fucking stupid shit, right? So whatever, kill me for it, internet. I don't give a fuck. So it's
Would
interesting
it change it for you.
Okay, wait, go and...
Oh, yeah. So it's interesting that we're in this space, right, where we're not looking at the perpetrator and we're looking at the person who got the abuse, right? Because it works the same way in other things as well, right? Where, for instance, there's a lot of these like RJTJ things, which is like restorative justice and transformative justice, right?
Yeah.
It works in similar way, and people can't grasp the idea of somebody doing something bad and then that person getting away with it, right? And I don't know. I don't necessarily, I don't want to say I don't agree with it. I don't think it always works, and it is not always applicable, right? It's not that's not always applicable where like you getting punched by something. Let's say Keith punched you right now, right? And then instead of Keith getting in trouble and going to jail, we sit down in the room and we talk about, well, why did you do that, Keith? And then you sit down and you talk to him, and you know, it's a conversation, right? Yeah. And then parties leave and then they reconvene and they keep doing that, right? Until a solution is like we come to a solution, right? Or we come to a resolution as to what we're going to do moving forward, right? Or what makes the person who got hurt feel better about it, and you know, and this person agreeing. So it's almost like a solution, right?
Got you.
But some people aren't with that, right?
No.
Obviously, most people won't be with that,
Nope.
right?
Right.
And that's, to me, that's what I'm saying. It's not applicable in every situation, because what if Keith shot Claudia? You know what I'm saying? And then what if she?
I love that
what
word.
If Keith? What if
You
Keith,
always use that.
What if Keith shot
The B
Claudia,
word.
right? So now the person who got hurt isn't there anymore, right? You take that person out of the equation. Now there's somebody else who's Claudia's family might be there, right? So now you're mediating with Claudia's family. Claudia's family might not want to see your ass.
Nope.
Claudia's family might not want to deal with you. Claudia's family might want you to get killed too,
yeah.
right? Or they might want
Even
you
the playing
to,
field,
or
right?
maybe you go to jail, and that's what I'm saying. And that applies in this situation the same way, because some people might view not perpetrator. I don't like to say that word. The person who's doing the abusing, they might look at that person like, you still did it, so fuck you, you know. And that's kind of what you're saying, right?
You still did it.
You still did it, you know, whatever. And not everybody's gonna think that way. I'm kind of in between all of that, right? I don't know how to feel when somebody does it, and then you know what I'm saying, like, and then we have to look at the other person when the person who got hurt is sitting right in front of us with her or his or they or theirs face beat up, right? So
and you know, I wish that I could find that video and maybe even send it to you guys so you guys could see it. But it's a documentary, and it's a training I took on domestic violence because, of course, I had to do that. But it was the best training I've taken ever. And it shows a clip of a woman, and when the police comes to the door, this woman is shaking, and just her face just angers you. Like, you just want this guy to go through fucking hell, because mind you, this woman is shaking, bruised. She's been beaten for 8 hours straight. 8 hours straight, and this man does not stop for no fucking reason. However, why is this person doing that? Why are you beating her for 8 hours straight? Right. And it's kind of like, it's a hard thought to process, because it's just kind of like, no, you need to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's take you to jail. Let's do the time that you got to do. And that's your punishment. No, you need to help people also with their mental health. Like, there's a reason why this dude decided to do that. And it's kind of the same thing with like DUIs. You get caught in a DUI, they ask you to go to classes. So why can it be like that for domestic issues as well, if that makes sense?
They take you to prison for DUI too sometimes.
No, I know, but a lot of times,
if it's in like repeating,
right. But the option is also like those classes. I don't know what they're called. So I'm just thinking for other scenarios, why don't they do that? And yeah, some stuff are court mandated, and you have to do it. And so I just wish that they would put that idea out there a little bit more. Like, perpetrators, yeah, you're an asshole for doing what you did, but there's still something there. There's still something there that it's the root of things.
All right. Well, we all know what that means. But it's just, there's nothing else left, man. You didn't line nothing else up for us.
Oh, look.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I think this is good. This was where we could leave off. I think
obviously we can dig deeper.
I think we've had some good conversations. I think this is the deepest we've gotten into a podcast, talking about one specific thing almost, right? Because it's been just one thing basically.
Yeah,
that's tied into a bunch of other things.
And we didn't get to all of them anyway.
No, we didn't. But I kind of picked the best ones. You know, I picked the best stuff. And shout out to you, Keith, for fucking setting this up, right? Always coming through. I do want to say that we are on all streaming platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor for your ass. And we're also on YouTube. Go subscribe, you fucks.
You get a sponsorship yet from Anchor?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Had
nope,
to ask.
Nope. You said you were going to ask every episode. And you
Had to
didn't ask the last episode. So
I did?
I'm offended. Yes.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe you did. I don't know. I don't remember.
I could have sworn I did.
Maybe you did. All right. Well,
He listened to it 1,000 times and don't even remember if I listened to
it's
it.
too many times. Too
Yeah.
many times. I appreciate y'all being open, man. And I appreciate y'all getting a little personal. And I also want to say, again, it might be too late, but anyway, it's a trigger warning again. If you're going to listen to this episode, I suggest you be prepared. And yeah, that's about it, guys.
That's it.
We are the Pushing Buttons podcast.
Yes.
All right. Thank
And we
you,
hear
guys.
Before we hear about guests, if you want to come on, you have to have something to talk about. You can't make us come up with what you want to talk about. If you want to be on, you have to have
Like I
the
said, man,
idea.
I'll fucking get something for you. You're not going to like the fucking questions.
And you're not going to like it, so that's why you should come up with it.
So, yeah, that's about it. Keith got his frustrations out again. Second time.
Second time?
Yeah, you did this last episode too.
I know I did.
You want to get on these fucking guests' asses, right?
No, because they say, I want to be on. What do you want to talk about? I don't know.
All right, so have topics and show up.
Have
That's
topics
it.
and show up, you
Yeah.
fuckers. All right, y'all. That is the episode, y'all. Goodbye.
Bye.